she sells seashells by the seashore. It's very pretty. It's very pretty right here. The water is very beautiful. But I have a book here, a little Zen teaching book by Huang, I think that's how you say his name. And I'm just going to read some of my favorite parts of it, really. I'm just going to read a part that I really liked. So we'll start with this part, which is talking about the way in Zen and in that teaching. Regarding this Zen doctrine of ours, since it was first transmitted, it has never taught that men should seek for learning or form concepts. Studying the way is just a figure of speech. It is a method of arousing people's interest in the early stages of their development. In fact, the way is not something which can be studied. Study leads to the retention of concepts, and so the way is entirely misunderstood. Moreover, the way is not something specifically existing. It is called the Mahayana mind which is not to be found inside, outside, or in the middle. Truly, it is not located anywhere. The first step is to refrain from knowledge-based concepts. This implies that if you were to follow the empirical method to the utmost limit of reaching that limit, you would still be unable to locate mind. So I think I'm going to stop that part there because I think it's really interesting, just not really trying to hold any concepts of anything, I'm not really sure what else I got in here. That is something I really liked. I got this little bookmark page here. Oh, it's a little poet thing. It's a little poem, I think. Its strength once spent, the arrow falls to earth. You build up lives which won't fulfill your hopes. How far below the transcendental gate from which one leap will gain the Buddha's realm. What is the Buddha? A question asked to him. Mind is the Buddha, while the cessation of conceptual thought is the way. Once you stop arousing concepts and thinking in terms of existence and non-existence, long and short, other and self, active and passive, such like, you will find that your mind is intrinsically the Buddha, that the Buddha is intrinsically the mind, and that the mind resembles a void. Therefore it is written that the true Dharham, I don't actually know how to say that word, but I'll put it on the screen, resembles a void. Seek for naught besides this, else your search must end in sorrow. Though you perform the 6 paramitas, I don't know how to say that word either, for as many eons as there are grains of sand in the Ganges, aiding also all the other sorts of activities for gaining enlightenment, you will still fall short of the goal. So, it's basically there is no existing and there is no non-existing. And I've kind of, I definitely messed up with that myself a lot, thinking that, things just didn't exist, that everything didn't exist. When really things do exist and things also don't exist at the same time. It's both, I think the whole idea really is that there is no dueling idea. One is not the other, they're just one, They're just one. So that's been pretty interesting to read in this book. I don't know how well you can see the book, but it's in this book here. But the lake is very beautiful. It's a very beautiful lake. It's a very, very beautiful day. There was months of snow and kind of, very dreary weather. And now it's cleared and, it's beautiful again. But that is to say that it's not like it wasn't beautiful before. It was beautiful in its own way. And I think beauty is something that comes in so many different shapes and forms that it really cannot be, summarized into one form. It's many forms. It's many. It's infinitely many things. time is really a very interesting thing. Time has been on my mind a lot as of late due to my own age. And that's really led me to thinking a lot about what I'm doing with my time, how I'm spending my time. I'm spending it. When really I know, the answer is to just live without the concept of time being so important. In an interview, Bjork said something like how everything that she's doing until she's 60 is basically just warm up for when she's 60. Right? That everything that you do really is just leading up to something bigger in the end, maybe. But I also think maybe she was meaning just like, you get wiser as you get older and you get better at things. Or maybe you think that you get better at something as you get older and the more you practice. And so, it's just taking a lot of the pressure off of performing at such an extremely high level when you're younger, and thinking that you have to achieve something huge when you're younger. And that really, I think that really diminishes all of it, your whole lifetime of creating. I think if you just tell yourself that you have to do something really big now when you're young, I think it makes it hard to do anything at all, or hard to get to the end. Especially for me, I have all these thoughts of like, well, I need to be doing something, I need to be doing something, but I also, my thoughts are very controlled by it not being what I want it to be, and I'm not just seeing the process through whatever it turns out and being happy with it. I have to be happier with the process more than I have to be happy with the outcome of it being exactly what I saw in my mind. Because I know that that is pretty unrealistic in terms of how something will turn out. It'll never look exactly how it does in my mind. It really possibly couldn't, because what exists within my mind is probably always changing anyways. And whatever grasp I think I have of a concept really is only very fragmental. It is not a whole, because only through the process of creation does it become a whole, I think. Maybe that's one way to look at it. But that's the beauty of everything, is that there's so many ways to look at everything. There's so many ways to look at everything, and I think as humans we really become very limiting on how we can see everything. But I'm not really an intellectual. I don't really claim to be a very intelligent person. I don't really claim to know a lot about a lot. I don't really want to claim to be anything, I just am. I'm just being. And I think that alone is really beautiful. It's really very peaceful here. Maybe we could just take a moment and just meditate here with the silence and the trees and the occasional car. I don't really mind the cars, At one point I used to think that they would, they ruin the tranquility and the beauty of an area, of something serene. But I just really don't think that's true anymore. I really think that I have to let go of those concepts of good and bad, and what is beautiful and what is ugly, and what takes away from what, because really it all exists in its own harmonious way, It's not really taking away from anything. But I do think that there are things that maybe weaken other things, But at the same time, I know that strength is not really as powerful as it kind of implies that it is. There's this line in Andrei Tarkovsky's film Stalker where he says that, I don't know, I don't actually have the quote. May everything come true. May they believe, and may they laugh at their passions. For what they call passion is not really the energy of the soul, but merely friction between the soul and the outside world. But above all, may they believe in themselves and become as helpless as children. For softness is great, and strength is worthless. When a man is born, he is soft and pliable. When he dies, he is strong and hard. When a tree grows, it is soft and pliable. But when it's dry and hard, it dies. Hardness and strength are death's companions. Flexibility and softness are the embodiment of life. That which has become hard shall not triumph. So let's take a look at this beautiful lake. It's very beautiful. It's very serene here. And you can see this is a big chunk of ice that is still somewhat frozen over. The world is a really very beautiful place. Even if there's lots of kind of terrible things going on Earth, I don't think that really takes away from its beauty. Its imperfect perfection. Look at this water, though. The way it kind of cascades up and ripples away. It reflects the sky above. I think time reveals things. I think time is more of a thing that opens doors and closes them, more so than it is I don't know. I don't know what else it could be in my mind. There's a leaf in the water. I don't know if I can even film that, though. I want to, but I think I'd have to make some adjustments to some things to get it to do it. This thing needs to be fixed a little bit. It's made this eye hole like huge and that one really small. So basically, you are beautiful in all your imperfect perfections, and you are amazing. You're infinite. You are forever. You are the beyond. You are whatever you want to be. And that's all I have to say.